Welcome back, everyone, to our eighth episode, which is Imola's recap. My guest and host for this week is back, Mr. Daniel. Welcome back, my
Great
friend.
to be back. Great to be back. I wish I could be closer to you, but out for a business trip. So got it. We're doing what we can.
We are going to have a quick recap about what happened in Imola. Like this week in the race, it was so special for them because it was the 75th year birthday of Formula One was last weekend in Imola. By the way, do you know Emilia Romagna Grand Prix? That's the official name of Imola, but we're gonna stick in Imola,
Yeah.
honestly. Like I love to stick in Imola instead of Emilia. La, 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 la. That's a long name, but
Yeah.
that's
A
very long
little bit
name.
long.
It is the hometown of
Hmm.
Antonelli, and like a cool thing I saw that he brought his classmates or his friends from the school to the circuit to check out his garage and everything. He was like in a big pressure. Like Toto spoke to him actually about the race and like tried to calm him down
Yeah.
because it's a pressure and he's young. Also, as I said, it's near Ferrari factory, so it's kind of hometown for both Ferrari
Right.
and of course it's the hometown for Antonelli. Also, FIA introduced the C6 compound of what is the softest tire to try to change the strategy to make it more excitement. But we saw it during the race, it was mostly like one stop strategy, you know what I mean? Colapinto started his first race last
Uh huh.
weekend. It was so cool to see him. Here's a stat, Daniel. Alonso until last weekend he was pointless, like the 0 point
Yeah.
after six
Right.
races, and it was his first time since 2017.
Wow.
We saw some upgrades as well, Daniel, on the cars to either to have the circuit specific, like or to have something better for
Yep.
their performance. An example, Ferrari did some upgrade on the rear corner, on the rear wing and the beam wing. Red Bull did engine cover rear suspension for performances and rear corners. I see McLaren did rear corner, rear wing, beam wing, front suspension. Like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams did an upgrade on their cars to make it
Yeah.
fit for last weekend. Going quickly to FP1, Max has different car
Hmm.
nose than Tsunoda just to test it out. And later on, we saw that it worked with Max. Like I saw in the practice that many cars were off the track. It's narrow and fast track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Portoletto end up in the barrier and he caused the red flag, which basically like finished the session.
Right.
But and like there is something happened, and last week we talked about how fans are abusing and bullying drivers. Last week Dohan was receiving threat emails, bad comments in the social media from Colapelto's fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this week there was some clash happening, during practice between Tsunoda and Colapinto. Colapinto's fans were abusing Tsunoda. Like to point Tsunoda said, like, this is not
I
football,
was just gonna
just
say,
car
is
racing.
this just because of like the football legacy of Argentinian?
Yeah, like, it's like, and even like the Alpine, the FIA had a statement, like, they were like, guys, it is a sport. We should not abuse anyone, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was sad to see. In FP2, in the second practice, Alonso almost had an accident because Colapinto was so slow. But he could avoid him, Hajar went off the first chicane, and he was stuck and tried to get out of the gravel,
Uh-huh.
but he got stuck and he caused a red flag, and FP2 finished. Let's move now to the qualifying. During Q1, we saw two accidents.
Mm.
Sonoda had his car flipped on a speed.
Oops.
Like looking at the footage, It was a scary one. Luckily, he could get out of the car. But it was a scary one, like on a speed, and he just flipped, hit the barrier. There is one video was taken from the fans who were next to where the accident was. Like after a while, they found him just taking the thing off, and he stood up and he got a cheer.
Yeah.
But by the end of Q1, what's his name? Colapinto had, accident or something like that? Crash, yeah. By the end, he crashed as well.
Yeah.
It was so unlucky for Ollie Berman, who had a good time, but by the end of the line, like start-finish line, turn red flag because of Colapinto's accident.
Right.
So imagine he had a really nice lap, and few meters before the start-finish line, it was red. He crossed it. Like, I'm sorry, rules are rules.
Wow.
They deleted his time.
That's crazy. That is absurd, actually.
It was crazy, yeah, and it caused him
wreck
moving.
on the track. Which section was it in?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Which
Sorry?
section was the wreck in?
Oh, I can't remember which one. Honestly, I can't remember. Which sector you mean?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But it wasn't sector 1 for sure,
Yeah.
because that's where Berman was. After that, like in Q1, as I said, Tsunoda went out because of the accident. Berman ended up 19, Esteban Ocon 18, Hülkenberg 17, and Liam Lawson finished 16. Going to Q2, that was a shocking one, to be honest. Both Ferrari and Antonelli couldn't make it to Q3. Franco Colapinto, because of the accident and because of his timing, he could qualify to Q2, but of course he couldn't participate in it because of the damage. Portoletto for Kick Sauber finished 14.
Yep.
But it was a surprise for the Ferraris to miss out. It's their hometown. This is their home race. Q3 was a good one. The top 10 was interestingly amazing. Finally, Stroll could break his curse and move out to Q3. You know,
it's a really unfortunate racing name. Just out for a stroll.
Unfortunate, yeah. It was so. Well, they were unlucky, you know what I mean? They were so unlucky. But Oscar Piastri had
not the unluckiest driver in the whole beeping world.
Exactly. Did you hear that one? Oh, I felt sorry for him. I really felt sorry for him. They had a good position to start, like in the grid, but you don't know. We're gonna go later into the race. The strategy was amazing in the race. Quickly in qualifying, Oscar Piastri secured the pole position, as we saw, and literally the difference between him and Max was 0.034 seconds. Max in Red Bull and George Russell completed the top 3, of course. Lando Norris qualified 4th. Fernando Alonso finished 5th. Carlos and Alexander Albon, Williams, are doing brilliantly.
Yeah.
They feel like they were 6 and 7. Ferrari, of course, we talked about Ferrari, that they went out. Stroll, I'm happy for him that he became 8. And of course, Hajar was 9.
Yeah, had an interesting weekend.
And Gasly was 10.
It was. I thought overall. I know we haven't gotten to the race yet, but overall, it definitely it was an interesting weekend for a lot of different people who haven't had as much time to kind of shine. And I don't know. I don't know if that's because of the actual circuit itself. You know, when you see a picture of the circuit, it just looks it looks like the name Imola. It's just this nice, flowy, easy turns. Not, you know what I mean? It's not the wildest turn.
Yeah.
Except for that, is it not the last turn, but must be the last sector where Verstappen got to pick it back up to race speed. And remember that turn he takes right after the safety. We'll get there to the safety car, but.
Yeah, we'll get.
But
there.
I think it has to do.
It
has to do with the circuit, and I feel like everyone had a really interesting weekend because it's just
the strategy worked so well in this race. Honestly, Piastri, when he started the race, he had a good start. The top 3, they were fighting. So Piastri was going ahead, Russell was behind him, and the overtake which Max did was amazing, man. The overtake shows the perfection of Max, and Max nickname is the generational driver. He is talented, man. The overtake was amazing. I was like, what? And of course, the minute he overtook, he just went ahead.
Yep, whole race.
The whole race. Exactly, like I loved it, man. I loved it. It was in the first corner, man. Lando Norris, you saw it by the end of the because again there was strategies, right? So they did one stop strategy.
Yeah.
They were trying to undercut Red Bull, but Max kept going on the medium. He kept going and going and going, and Piastri got stuck behind cars.
Yeah.
You saw it like once you go on pit, there is like it faces 29 seconds in average, and when he went out he got stuck behind the traffic. He kept pushing and taking over all the cars, which was amazing to see, like, you know, from Piastri, like, you know. But that gives Max time to, with his clean air, to go further and further and further. Like Lando Norris, like we saw that he had to have a switch in positions. That's why he got second. Because basically Piastri, like, you know, when he pitted, he did not have another new tires, by the way. So he had to stay in with the tire he got, like, you know, and that's why he finished third. The teams were kind of gambling on safety car or virtual safety car. So when Ocon cars stopped and they deployed the virtual safety car, that was amazing, like, you know, for some teams to go and change. But then when Antonelli's car stopped, by the way, Antonelli's car stopped like a little bit further than Ocon. But some people were asking why Ocon then had a virtual safety car and Antonelli had a full safety car.
I was wondering that.
The reason why, because Ocon, where Ocon stopped, man, it was literally a push over near to the exit.
Yes.
But because Antonelli was a little bit further,
it was like uphill.
They couldn't do the same. Yeah, up and further, they couldn't do the same, right? So they had to get the crane, which we saw, and he did not cause any damage because he just stopped. But it's the position or the area where he stopped. That's what considered you know, you get
for
my
a full
point,
safety
right?
car. Yeah.
For the first time, and I was so happy to see Ferrari on top. Like, remember, Lewis Hamilton started 12. And Charles Leclerc started on 11.
Yeah.
Now, the strategy worked more with Lewis Hamilton than it worked with Leclerc. And we saw when the safety car came in and Leclerc was like, why I'm not pitting? And they said, well, if you pit, you're going to lose a lot of positions. And especially that it was by the end of the race. You know what I mean? Leclerc had, like, he had to fight everyone else at the same time, try to not slide because like his hard tires is worn. We saw the action between him and Alexander Albon where like he pushed him out, and for Leclerc they said it is racing thing, like that's in Leclerc's point of view. But the reason why Ferrari asked Leclerc to give back the position to Albon is to not risk, because it was under investigation, right? And to not risk have 5 seconds penalty.
Right.
They asked him, you know what? Give him back the position. At least we are on the same order, like on the top 10. Instead of finishing 9 or 10, maybe he will be out of, especially because of safety car all the time. All the cars are closer to each other. So like they had to give him back the position.
I mean, I think Albon was probably pretty happy about that, and as he should be, because what I'm remembering is that what happened. Okay, so Leclerc came on the outside there, right? Like came on the outside of that, and he was actually ahead. Yeah. And then wait, how did it go though? Like what? I can't even recall now. I have to watch the footage again. But he was on the outside and he pushed.
Albon had to go out to avoid an accident.
Correct.
Right, and that's when Lewis Hamilton took the advantage. You know what I mean, and just like flew. You know,
that was
I was so happy for him.
It was so exciting. Really, the last like 20 laps of that race were just pretty high voltage, I would say. And I'm not one for watching it. Like it's still for me at this point. Even like there's like 20 to 30 laps in any given race where I'm just like, you know, I'm because it's, you know, you're just watching them go around and you're like whatever. But this one, there was seriously solid 20-25 laps where it was like it was action packed. It was really fun.
It was action packed. George Russell finished 7th. Carlos Sainz finished 8th, and I was so happy to see Williams. And I believe Williams are going to be on the podium very soon.
Yeah.
Where I don't know, but they are going to be very soon on the podium if they keep doing whatever they're doing. Isaac Hajar and Tsunoda finished top 10. Tsunoda, he started 20, and I'm happy that he finished 10th. Again, how? The strategy. The strategy worked.
Yeah.
The safety car, the virtual safety car, like literally influenced the strategy. It was great. Like it was great to see that with Max Verstappen when he marked Red Bull's 400 Grand Prix and his fourth consecutive victory in Imola. Now with that win, the championship standing is getting closer and closer and closer. The top three, like Oscar Piastri is 146, Norris is 133, and Max now is 124 points. So like it is getting closer. Like I saw an interesting stats, because I know you like stats.
I do.
It's called the race day track domination during the race. So with Mercedes, Russell was 80%, Antonelli was 20%. Williams, Albon was 78.9% to comparing to Sainz, who was 21.
What does it mean to have like race day track domination? Like who was doing better for how much?
Like where he was faster, who was like doing faster. Like. With Alpine, for example, Colapinto was dominating. Colapinto was 61.6% and Gasly was 38.4%.
Right.
It was interesting to see such stats. Let's move to the predictions. Right? I'm going to now announce who got the yellow hat and who is the wooden spoon. We had four banters participating this week. Mr. Morals, SRB, and Native. And the wooden spoon goes to Mr. Morals and SRB for getting 10.5 points.
Shout out to Mr. Morals there.
You know, he told me an interesting information that it's not him who is picking the predictions. He let his students pick it.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Really?
And the yellow hat goes to Nate F. Finally with 12 points. Congratulations, Nate F. We're going to do our prediction later on when we talk about Monaco.
Yes.
Well, that's what happened during the Imola race. I hope all good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was an interesting one. And man, like I'm looking forward to know what happened or what is going to happen next week with Monaco, which we're going to talk about it in details later.
Okay.
Did you enjoy the race?
Oh yeah, I had a great time. I had an absolutely great time. Like I said, the back half of the race especially was super exciting, and I don't know. I at this point, like for me, it's really fun just because when watching some of the first races, I was like. I mean, I really didn't know where to look. You look at the screen and there's so many numbers flipping back and forth, and you're wondering what is what, why is this there? And it doesn't take too long to catch on to that, but it does take a while to like understand the story of it, because you can know that like, oh, okay, well that's the interval timer, or that's the tires that they have, or whatever. But then to like connect all the pieces and really feel it all coming together. This was one of the first times. I have to say, for me, this was one of the first times I watched the race, and I was like, oh my gosh, I understand what's happening in real time as I'm watching. I'm not having to think about it afterwards to figure out why that was happening or why this was happening. And so that was fun for me. But also it was a great race, like I said, for some really kind of more unusual players in the top 10. And that made it super interesting. Of course, there was actual drama there at the end, especially closer to the end. So, very exciting kind of race. Yeah, huge, and it was fun. I'll say this: it was fun to watch my guy lose. Not lose. He didn't lose. He got third place.
He was unlucky.
He got third place.
Piastri was unlucky with his tire. Like yes. If there was no safety car, I would think. There would be, because he was flying, man. He was literally his tires age was what, 41, I think.
Yeah.
When the race finished.
Yes.
And that's why, like with what's his name, with Norris, when he pitted, he had the fresher tires, which like if the race was a little bit longer, I think he would catch maybe Max. You know what I mean?
Could be.
it was unlucky for PS, but again, it's good for McLaren,
Yeah.
like, and with that, like the team standing, literally, like McLaren are 279 points, Mercedes came second with 147 points, Red Bull then 131, Ferrari 114. Yes, it was so unlucky for Piastri,
Yeah.
but it was good for the team as McLaren,
Yeah,
like,
totally. And not it was unlucky but not disastrous. I mean, I think
Not
when, I,
disastrous, exactly.
do you remember at one point Piastri was like an eighth or whatever, and I was like, Piastri, more like disastry. He's it wasn't a
I
disaster
like
though.
it.
That's the
Disaster.
joke though. So it wasn't actually a disaster.
Yeah.